and longer to get to Mars. We need to keep not just the public engaged, but the engineering community engaged, moving outward with accomplishments on reasonable milestones, I would say every 2 to 4 years, by going deeper and further into interplanetary space and making steps along the way, always seeming to go further and longer. And that can be done by first going beyond the moon. That's the title of the report. Going out to L1 points, L2 points, as we've heard, these are useful both scientifically, but also as interim steps to build up human long-duration flight capability. Moving out to a near-Earth object, there's even suggestions that there are huge near-Earth objects that can reach modest, with the Ares Orion system that they're developing now, or modest enlargement of it before you went to the heavy lift capability. But clearly you'd want to go to the heavy lift capability to reach a whole number of perhaps more interesting near-Earth objects. And then, of course, maybe to even Phobos and Deimos. Again, building up your interplanetary transportation capability. At the same time, deferring all the costs, all the infrastructure, all the detour that a lunar landing would require. And that's the way you can afford to build up this interplanetary flight capability, getting out. And of course, think how engaging that would be. Think of the first astronauts to go beyond the moon, setting a distance record. Think of the first astronauts going on an asteroid and conducting operations there. Sure, there'd be kind of a stunt aspect to jumping off an asteroid or going into orbit around it, but these would all be important practices and important activities as we're building up our capability to go and really send humans into the solar system. And the third element of this, and it has to be emphasized, and it hasn't been, is the robotic aspect of it. What we're doing on Mars is, in the public mind, leading toward humans going to Mars. The great laboratories we're putting down on the surface, the international teams, the United States and Europe have now decided that the big Mars landers have to be conducted internationally. Neither one has enough money or focus in their science program alone to justify the size of missions of even Mars Science Lab or ExoMars, let alone in the future a Mars sample return, which is going to require the capabilities of many nations to participate, not just U.S. and Europe. I remind everybody, how many nations have conducted automatic sample return from the planetary surface? One. That was the Soviet Union. It hasn't been done since. One nation is now trying it, and that's Japan. And we don't know if they will have succeeded or not. They've actually gotten down to the surface of an asteroid and picked up, they hope they picked up a sample, but we won't actually know. It's quite a drama, it's quite a great story to see what will happen next year when they, if that spacecraft does get back, if it lands successfully, and if they open it up and find a sample, it will be fantastic. But even if they don't, it will underscore how big a step that is and how remarkable that the mission has been conducted and how necessary it is as we build up our capability to do it at Mars. And I believe that the Russians and the Japanese will be relevant for the planet as well as the U.S. and Europe. By the way, the Russians are also hoping to launch this year, or at least not this year, 2011, Phobos sample return mission, again to an automated sample return from another world, and of course they succeeded in that. That experience is forever. So the road to Mars, why is Mars the goal that's so engaging? Well, first of all, it brings together the science and public interest. The search for life and human destiny beyond Earth focuses on Mars. It is the only accessible place we can reach that has atmosphere and water. Whether or not we find life on Mars, the result is profoundly important. If we do find life on Mars, it's a boost to the whole idea of life in the solar system that we found in our in the close neighborhood of the solar system. If we don't, well, here's a planet that very fertile in so many ways, and if we don't find it there, that's the planet. An extraordinarily popular Mars exploration program is conducted now for several years, ever since Mars Pathfinder, a series of Mars missions being outlined. But as the budget that greater, and as the whole science exploration combination needs to be pulled together, that program continuation is very much in jeopardy. And there are a lot of forces going on right now, including in the planetary decadal study and in the whole exploration program, that need to be pulled together to make sure that Mars exploration is not just seen as one of various things that NASA does. It is that, but it's also much more. It is the whole exploration rationale, the search for life, past, present, and future, that drives so much public interest in the space program. In addition to science and public interest together, it's humans and robots together. I've talked already a little bit about this. Mars sample return is a consensus science imperative. It's also the robotic precursor for humans to go to Mars. One of our recommendations is now to use the Ares 5 or an equivalent. We're not trying to take positions on exact rocket decisions. For Mars sample return, to bring the programs together and to finally enable this mission, which as a big deal. I led a Mars sample return study. So I've been part of Mars sample return studies since the mid-70s, and every time they go forward into the National Academy and into high-level NASA review, they get shot down because of cost, because of the political competing priorities. If we're ever going to get this mission, it's going to take more than just a science division advancing it. It's going to have to be an activity that involves international cooperation and the human and robotic sides of the program together. For the public, this program is really one program. Science and exploration can't be separated, and these have to be brought together. Mars and Earth together. This is another important theme that we need to keep very much in mind. There's many priorities for observing Earth from space, understanding the Earth as a planet, understanding global climate change on Earth, and how these processes work on other planets. This is a subject which is certainly intellectually no one can challenge it. Much of our awareness about global climate change has come from our observations of planets, and of course, much of it has been graphically demonstrated as we've observed Earth from space. The crucial observations of Earth from space, as well as the theoretical work that comes from planetary modeling, has to be played. Program that can serve global geopolitical interests and inspire the world. It's a point that many of the leaders now in the space community have become to recognize that one of the great values of human exploration has been to inspiring, and if we're bringing nations together to do that, it will help even in the strategic decisions we need to make about preserving Earth and many other aspects of domestic and national policies that require international cooperation. So in summary, the human exploration serves the geopolitical interest and should focus beyond the moon. International Space Station should be used as a stepping stone, as a way of bringing up the long-duration human flight capability. Near-Earth objects are a potential first interplanetary destination. Lunar missions should only be undertaken when required and affordable, and only with partners. It's not an end goal for the United States itself. And the partnership is ready, and until we really develop the interplanetary transportation steps. The search for life drives us and focuses on Mars. Human and robotic programs should be focused together as a seamless program, and perhaps using the Ares 5 or its equivalent on the Mars sample return, weaving the international and cultural imperatives of human exploration to enhance global cooperation, serves broader interests, and brings a greater public constituency to the program. And all along, everything we do must be seen to maintain the goal of international human exploration of Mars. Well, I'm glad to say that this morning,